Welcome to Meet My Friend with Daddy Porter. I'm Daddy Porter, and I'm here with my friend John Francis. He is the founder of Father's Eve. If you do not know what Father's Eve is, it's a celebration of fatherhood the day before Father's Day every year. Um, John has a gazillion satellites in different cities, meaning that fathers meet up in all these different cities. Obviously, with the worldwide pandemic, I'm excited and interested to hear what he's got planned for this. But I want to introduce you to him, but also I want we'll do a little bit of his history, and then we're just going to jump into Father's Eve. And so, if anybody is unfamiliar with Father's Eve and the phenomenon that it is, you should be able to comment on any of our comments sections that you're seeing this, and John can answer your questions. So without further ado, I'm just going to bring him on because he's my friend and I want everybody to know what he's doing. So excellent. Here we go. What's up, John?
Greg. Hi, Greg. I'm good, man. Thank you. I'm good.
I don't believe in that adage, John, that I think I'm pretty sure you know that I don't believe in the adage of is it 5 o'clock I can have a beer. So I'm having a beer this afternoon as we chat.
Well, I'm having a beverage, but it's not beer, not yet.
Oh, that's fine. Hey, coffee?
Just water right now. That's all.
Oh, okay. Hey, we gotta hydrate through this, man. So, welcome to the show, John. I don't know if you've seen any previous show editions of this stream, but what I try to do is accent my friends here and make sure that they get their word out on what they're doing. So, I'm very proud to know you as a friend and to have met you a long time before. I don't know if it was before Father's Eve, but it was absolutely when Father's Eve was a baby, right out of the womb. So I don't know if you want to go back there and where did the inspiration start for you to do Father's Eve, and I guess we'll go from there.
Well, I can thank you, Greg. I appreciate knowing you and our friendship as well. It's a lot of fun. I've gotten to know a lot of cool guys over the years. I think where we probably first met was either at Dad 2.0 or the Home Dad Con. I'm not sure which one or when or where, but I've been attending those conferences now for a few years and certainly enjoying the connections and friendships that I've made over the years. So I'll give you some background on Father's Eve. Really, it started as an accident, to be honest. Back in the last recession in 2011, my wife and I, we moved to a bigger house because everything was on sale and it was a good time for us to upgrade. So we bought a house in St. Paul, Minnesota, where we already lived. And we got a big old house, beautiful, nice house was done. Everything was upgraded. My wife loved the place. I loved the place. Great house. The only problem is the garage was terrible. There's a little tiny garage that was just too old and it wasn't going to work. So I was able to have it torn down and built a new garage. Had a contractor come in and build me a real nice garage. Minnesota, right? We use our garages. It's a big deal. So I got drains, I got the heat, the hot water. I mean, we set it up nice. And I wanted to show off the garage and let my buddies know where we had moved to. So my wife and I were flipping through calendars back, when you flip calendars like a week at a glance. We were going through looking for dates. And I wanted a Friday or Saturday night that I could have a few buddies over just to show it off. And it was a busy summer. It was the summer of 2012. And I had little kids at home and I was working from home and, it's just a lot going on. So there weren't too many open dates. And the one we finally settled on was the Saturday before Father's Day. And initially I'm like, geez, nobody wants to go out that night because, tomorrow, the next day is Father's Day and I got to get up early with the kids. And so we kept looking for other dates and there really weren't any other dates until like August. And I thought, well, that's too late. I don't want to wait that long. So we said, if it's going to be that night, that Saturday night in June, and it's the night before Father's Day, we're going to call it Father's Eve. It'll be great. So it really was an accident. I didn't set out to do this on purpose, but it was a great opportunity. That first year, there were about 25 or 30 guys that showed up in my garage, and all we did was, drink beer. We had some pizzas and chips, I think, and a little rock and roll music was just a little too loud. It was perfect, right? There was no women, no children, just guys totally hanging out with nothing to do, no agenda. Just, hey, come on over. I got a lot of friends. I want to, I've got a history of in from school, from high school and college, organizing parties and things and just having a good time. I don't know. It's kind of what I'm good at, I guess. So it had been a while since I threw a big party, and this really wasn't a big party. It was just an opportunity for my buddies to come over and hang out, see the place. So we had a great time. I mean, it was fun. We didn't do anything. We drank some beer, listened to some tunes, and just kind of sat around. There was nothing going on. It was fun. And we had so much fun. They were like, well, let's do it again. Sure. Now, why not? So it had to be Father's Eve. The next year, we did it on Father's Eve because we were calling it Father's Eve. And we thought that was pretty clever, and it about doubled. The next year, there was probably 50 guys in my garage. And, like I said, I got a lot of friends that we go hunting and fishing and snowmobiling. I got buddies from school and from work and from, other things I'm involved with, the school and the kids and their parents and, all those friends. So it just kind of opened it up and more guys showed up and we had more beer and more games. We added some bags, we're throwing the beanbag games and somebody brought cigars, we were passing cigars out. That was kind of fun and stayed up late, but it was fun. We had a great time. Then the third year, it was 2014. It was getting out of control. We had probably 80, maybe 100 guys. I don't even know. There were so many people coming, and guys were bringing their friends. Right, there were guys showing up that I didn't know, which was great. I thought, well, this is catching on. These guys are having fun, and they want to bring their friends. And it's Father's Eve, and we're calling it Father's Eve. Now we had some food. One of my buddies is in the restaurant business. He brought over a big grill. We were grilling burgers and stuff. And I mean, we had like a car show going down the street with my buddies in their cool cars. And I mean, it was just really fun and it was getting a little crazy, but in a good way, and someone challenged me that year. Someone said to me, what are you going to do with this Father's Eve thing? And I said, well, what do you mean? What's wrong with this? Why can't we just do this? And they said to me, you could do some good with this. You are the kind of guy who can do more. And I'm like, oh, geez, once challenged, right? You took the challenge. So that year, 2014, I talked to my buddies and I said, well, we're going to do some good. Let's raise some money for charity, right? But we can't do it in my garage anymore. It's getting too big and it was a big mess. And, I didn't really want to wreck the place. It was still new. So we decided to move it to a bar. We moved it to a bar about a mile away. It's a bar called O'Gara's in St. Paul. A friend of mine and his friend, Dan O'Gara, and we talked to Dan. He said, sure, it's a slow night anyway, unless there's a Twins baseball game. So they gave us the back of the bar and we set it up and we promoted it and we got organized. I got a few guys to help me pull this off. We raised $10,000 for charity that year and it was unbelievable. We had a silent auction. We had a live auction. Mm-hmm. I kind of called in all the markers for people who I'd done things for in business and people owed me some favors. I said, look, you got to come out to this event and either give me something to donate from your business or whatever you got, or come and buy something, and pay a little too much because it's going to charity. We had some T-shirts printed up that were donated. One of my friends from college is in the media and PR. He got us in the newspaper. He got some TV trucks to show up. I mean, we were watching ourselves on TV. It was unbelievable. Couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of fun, and we raised 10 grand. I thought, well, wow, this is really something. Now what else can I do with it? So my day job, is in franchising, right? I work with franchise companies. That's kind of my thing. But you can't franchise one night a year fundraiser. I mean, there's no business model there. It's not a sustainable thing. And I did not want to set it up as a charity. I thought, the world is not telling me to set up a new charity. We want to use Father's Eve as a fundraiser for existing charities, other charities. There's plenty of good charities that need our help. So what we did is we trademarked Father's Eve. I got a trademark, and we licensed that trademark for free. So we give it away for people, other guys, typically guys, and that want to host a Father's Eve event, we call it. We don't call it a party. Although it might look like a party, it might turn into a party. We don't promote it as a party. We call it an event. Mm-hmm. And we organized some simple rules. We have a website and we grew it. So 2016, I went to that event for the first time, the Dad 2.0 Summit. And someone had suggested I go to that show, and I'm used to going to franchise conferences where I know half the people, right? And I went to this conference. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything. What I learned about is this is where social media influencers go. And, I could spell the word blog, but I didn't have a blog. I didn't really read blogs. I didn't really know what I was doing. I thought there was opportunity. So I printed up some business cards with the Father's Eve information, and I got to meet those guys. I'm looking at the screen there. I met the City Dads group. I met Matt and Lance there. They were great guys. And I looked at their deal, and I'm like, geez, that sounds like a franchise. Where's your guy in Minnesota? And so I signed up to be the City Dads organizer for the Twin Cities here, and I got connected with them because I was already doing a lot of that stuff around the year with my friends, and we'd go to shows and games and events and things. And I had an email list already of my dad buddies that we'd do stuff. I was doing things at the kids' school already with the dad club at their grade school. So I met them there, and I also met the National At Home Dad, which is a real national charity of 501c3. And I said, I really want a charity that is focused on dads. And so we got a hold of them, and they're like, sure, we'd love to help you. And I said to those guys, I said, for example, what if I give you some money from our events, what are you going to do with it? I mean, what is your organization? How do you operate? I mean, I really didn't know anything about it. Never heard of them before. And they said, well, we host an event. We host a conference every year. And now I know it's Home Dad Con. I said, well, that sounds pretty cool. And I said, well, I could sponsor that event. And I said, do you have a reception, the night before when everybody's coming into town? And it's like, how are you? How you been? But then the conference starts the next day. And they said, well, yeah, we have something, but it's never really formalized. I said, well, let's organize Convention Eve sponsored by Father's Eve. Because that's where I'd like to show up. I like to show up at that event that way, and that certainly locked in the concept of this is something you do the night before. Mm-hmm. So Convention Eve became our opportunity to give back to the National At Home Dad Network, which, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun. I think we've done it, we did it 16, 17, 18, and 19. 4 years. Yeah, I think 4 years. Mm-hmm. Not sure we're going to do it this year. I think we're shifting gears on our charity fundraising. I think I can explain about 2020, but so anyway, 2016, I went to that conference, met these groups, got busy, got focused. We licensed it in 12 cities, which I couldn't believe. Hey, we got 12 other guys, 11 other guys, I guess, to do Father's Eve. 2016, 2017, it was in the mid 20s. I think there was about 25 guys that did Father's Eve in 2017. 2018, we got to 43 cities. And I think you came to Minnesota for that one. We were at the Summit Brewery, 2018. That was a lot of fun. We had about 150 guys there.
That was my second Father's Eve in person.
That was your second one, yeah.
Yeah, I was at the bar.
Oh, at the O'Gara's, yeah.
Yeah, I think didn't we have it at O'Gara's 2 years?
We were there, I think, 3 years, 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah, I think I was there the second year.
15, 16, 17, I think. Well, you were there when NBC News came and covered our event. We had a film crew, NBC. Yeah. That was 2017, which was fantastic. Again, the media guys are doing their great work. Mm-hmm. So last year, 2019, we were in 60 cities. We had 2 in Canada and 1 actually in Mexico City. And we've had them in Costa Rica. We had a guy down there, an American who lived down there. We had a guy in Scotland who did it over there in the UK. So we own the trademarks now in the US, Canada, and the United Kingdom, Great Britain. So we license the trademark for free. There's no cost. There's no fee. We don't take any credit cards or checks or money. We're not really looking for anyone to have to pay to do this. I think Father's Eve should be a lot like New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. It just happens. And if you want to participate, you do. And if you don't want to, nobody cares. I mean, it's kind of just a fun opportunity to get guys to connect and share and celebrate being fathers, being dads. What I've learned from doing this, is a lot of guys just become fathers unconsciously. I mean, hopefully you get married, you start your family, and you do your thing, and all of a sudden you're a dad. And you figure out how to do it either from your dad or friends or family or people around you. You get some advice and tips, and people just kind of figure it out. But they don't really think about how important it is to be the dad. and how that role and how you behave and the things you can do with being a father and what an impact you can really have. And so we think that Father's Eve has created an opportunity for dads to celebrate fatherhood. And we love Father's Day on Sunday. I love it. I'm with my family and my kids, and we do our thing with the family. But Father's Eve is just for the dads. So we love it so much. Father's Day, we wanted to extend it, but we had to back into Father's Eve to do it. So it's kind of how it worked out. And we've learned now, after a few years, we've been doing it. I've got a couple thousand guys that have done it in all these different cities, and they're having fun doing it as well. You know, it's a great chance to get guys together for good, to do some good. And you know, we're not selling anything. We're not preaching to anybody. We're not trying to solve anyone's problems or anything like that. We really don't have much of an agenda other than to connect and share and celebrate. We do some good. Probably the most important thing about Father's Eve, I'll just say this, is at 8 o'clock, you know, we do our countdown toast. On New Year's Eve, you got to wait till midnight, which is too late because I got to go home by 10:30. I want to get up the next day with my kids. So we backed up the toast on Father's Eve to 8 p.m. local time. And we do it just like New Year's Eve. You count it down. We kind of make a big deal. And, you know, you toast to the dads, 8 o'clock. And that's our peak, I guess. People have told me that's your engagement moment. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's how we're doing it. So with that, you know, it gives us something to focus on and something memorable. And it certainly makes it fun. A lot of the guys around the country, you know, they do different games and activities. We've had golf tournaments, poker tournaments, axe throwing tournaments, you know, some random stuff. I mean, you got to have something to do. I guess I'll go into the 5 rules real quick. This will go quick. So the first rule of Father's Eve is keep it clean, right? It's got to be sort of PG rated. We want everyone welcome. So keep it clean, Father's Eve. Number 2, focus on dads. That means all the dads, the granddads, the divorced dads, the stepdads, the gay dads, you know, any dad, any father figure. We're inclusive in our approach, all the dads. Number 3 is you got to have something to do, like I was saying, some kind of activity. You know, guys standing around drinking beer is fine, but it's better if you have something to do, some kind of game or project or activity. Number 4 is work together. We want to know who you are and what you're doing, and we want you to use our materials. We're trying to build a brand and build a movement. I'm trying to build a list so I can attract sponsors. That's how I'd like to monetize this thing someday, is get more sponsors that actually want to be part of it. And then the 5th rule is really don't screw this up. Don't be that guy. Don't be the one that blows it and does something stupid that gets too much attention and wrecks it for the rest of us. Pretty simple rules, pretty straightforward approach. Like I said, the website, I know you're trailing it there on the bottom. That's where you go for more info. There's a simple sign-up agreement. You fill in the blanks. You read the license if you want to. There is actually a contract, but it's real simple. I try to keep it straightforward. It gives us some protection for the trademark and make sure that people don't do anything stupid, I guess. And then you run the event. You have some fun. You promote it. Yeah, there you go. You got the 5 rules there. And now I can tell you, part of the fun is I get to talk to these guys. When I get a submission, someone fills in that blank and hits submit. It sends me an email, and I respond to the guy, and I call him and I say, look, I got to talk to you to activate your license. I got to know who you are. And so I talk and figure out who they are and what they're doing. And hopefully they're going to do some good or have some fun, or maybe they've got a charity in mind. They want to raise money for some local charity, which is great. We love that. That really gives us better purpose. And I can tell you that I've turned down a couple of guys over the years. There have been a couple of guys that, you know, talking to them, you realize they're not really doing it the way I want them to do it. And they had some other bad ideas, and they say, you know what, I'm not going to approve it. So no, you can't do it. So we do have some integrity, I guess, around the brand. We're trying to protect the thing and make it real, you know? Yeah.
I do want to say, John, in a world of where we're in a worldwide pandemic and there's this back and forth about science and all that, this is backed by science, given that you know, all the studies show that men aren't around their friends enough, men don't socialize enough, men are really, really serious as far as, you know, especially about fatherhood, about, you know, putting money on the table or being there for a father, that they don't think of themselves first. So this is just this is what I love about Father's Eve, especially if it's in your community. It's a built-in way for a father to get out. Is not that there's not any excuses, but this is also that if you've been to any Father's Eve event in Minneapolis or St. Paul, it wasn't just all men there. There were so many wonderful females there that were helping you. That this is that showed me too. Another thing was that like mothers really support this initiative.
Yeah.
They support the whole thing. So I love that it's just a built-in day that even mothers are like, yes, go out, or yes, take the garage and I'll take the girls out, or yes, we'll hide upstairs and play games while you and the boys are downstairs. I've seen this with my own two eyes. I don't know if you want to jump off of that as far as the support that mothers are giving, but also, you know, again, it's based in science. I mean, I know you didn't start with the science, but if you look at the science, science says that, you know, fathers are better when they get out. Fathers are better when they have their own time. You know, again, we're not talking about, you know, every day, all day, but we're talking about, you know, taking a piece of life for you and going out and coming back, and you're just a better father.
Yeah, I agree, and I do understand that, and you know, I'm paying attention now. Obviously, the last few years, we're trying to grow this thing on purpose. So I've been learning and studying, and I keep showing up at those conferences and learning more stuff about it. What I've learned is that a lot of guys, especially, you know, they get focused on their work, or they focus on, you know, other things and activities, and they lose touch with their friends. They lose touch with their childhood friends or their school friends or their work friends, and if you lose those relationships, those friendships, you know, people get isolated, and that has a bad impact on mental health and well-being. I mean, it's not a good thing. So my approach to this has been, you know, Father's Eve is a chance to bring your buddies together, come with your friends, or come make some new friends if you need to. And actually, I've seen it work pretty well. I get feedback from guys after the events. You know, I say, "How did it go? What'd you do? What happened? What did you see?" And what I see is guys are able, because they don't know each other, they're almost more willing to share things because it's more or less safe, right? And they know there's no judgment. We call it a judgment-free environment, right? No one's gonna say anything or do anything. They're just gonna hang out and relax. So it creates that opportunity for guys to share and learn from each other, that I would call a safe environment. And there is some real camaraderie. I mean, I see it at my events because, of course, we've been doing it, but I see guys that come back year after year, and they see the guys that they hung out with last year. It's like, hey, how you been? You know, they really do know each other. And I've heard from other groups where guys have gotten, you know, developed some friendships that carry on, you know, beyond that one night a year. You know, I've actually had guys get hired, get jobs, some unintended consequences, you know, that are positive. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it is a great opportunity. It's a needed opportunity. And I think what makes it really work is there's no agenda. You know, we're not preaching, there's no speech, there's no real program. I mean, we might say a few things like, thanks for coming, and, you know, have some fun and stay connected. But, you know, we're really not trying to, we're not trying to push anything. We're just trying to create an environment that lets it happen on its own. It's sort of authentic and genuine, and it really is fun. Yeah,
fun, especially the one. I mean, what you guys have been doing up in St. Paul's has been fun, and it's something that, as you know, I've been 2 of the 5 years or whatever. It's just something that I really tried to make an event to come up to. My family loves the Twin Cities, so it's really easy to say, hey, let's all go to the Twin Cities for a weekend. Yeah. And then it's Father's weekend too, so it really fits in for me because I don't know, I'm not really that guy who's pushing and pulling my family anywhere. So normally if I say I want to go up to Minneapolis, everybody's like, yes, let's go. And yeah. I don't know, the last 2 events I've been to, they were unique, they were fun. As you said, there was no agenda. It was just, I mean, you just showed up and you just had fun. I mean, we were throwing horseshoes the one time. I mean, actually, we always throw horseshoes. But, I mean, there's always food. There's always just a good time. I mean, you know, again, there's beer there, but that's not the focus of the event. And I met so many good dads, fun dads. And also, too, John, I also have to point out before we, you know, just before, you know, so we get everything across, is you have national sponsors, but you also have local sponsors. And right. We had the Home Dad Con up in Minneapolis. You guys really had a really profound presence is the word I'm gonna say at the convention. And I don't know if you want to talk anything about that because you brought some people that you sponsored with and that you work with in the Minneapolis area
Yeah.
convention. And I can tell you, John, because I was a board member of this organization, the National I'm Dad Network. I can tell you for being being a board person for a long time, and even though I'm not now, a lot of people give me feedback. And I heard so much feedback about those guys, whether they were talking or interacting with everybody. So I want you to if you can, introduce everybody to who they were. And again, it was profound, man, because people were coming up to me saying these guys are great. It was nice that Johnny Francis brought them to us. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. If you want
Sure, sure. Well, one of the groups that we found here in Minneapolis is called the Father Project. And this is a group that helps dads who are coming out of custody. They call them reentry dads, and they get released or paroled, or they get, they serve their time or whatever, and they're coming back to the real world. And this group helps those fellas get a job, get a place to live, get visitation with their family, if depending on their situation, and get prepared to be the dad again in their family, in their community. Which, once I learned about them and understood what they were doing, it's like, holy cow, we need to support those guys. I mean, we had kind of the at-home dads on the one end, and then the Father Project dads kind of on the other end. I mean, I would say two extremes of fatherhood, but the common connection is we're all dads, and we get it. We want to help those guys do a great job. So we've been supporting them locally, and we got involved with them right from the beginning. I think they were, the second year we did fundraising, we found them because they wanted something specific, dad focused. And they're great guys. They really are. They're a lot of fun, and they do some really great work, and they really need our help. So we invite them. I'm like, come on, you got to come out, bring some of your guys, and let's go. And at first they're like, well, these guys aren't probably like your guys. They come from a little different background. I said, so what, man? We're all dads. I mean, let's go. It's the same thing. I don't care who they are, what they come from. I don't think about it that way. We just really want to connect and share. So we have, and over the years, now it's been 3 or 4 or 5 years, I guess. We developed those relationships, and we got them to participate in the program for the At-Home Dad conference, which was really cool because they talk about what they're dealing with. And you know what? Everyone struggles with something sooner or later. Life is not easy, and life is not fair. I think we all know that as adults. And being a dad, takes on a number of different dimensions, and things can go wrong that you didn't expect or didn't intend, and other things can happen, where all you can do is respond and react. So watching these fellas share their stories was really profound. I think it helped a lot of people understand just maybe how lucky they are, or how much we can help these other guys who really want the help and deserve the help and benefit from our help. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Perspective was the word that was used.
Yeah.
They brought perspective that I've never seen or I never felt. And also it was more about like, wow, again, when you get perspective, John, you get the whole, man, I kind of have it easy, or man, my work that I put into this has made it easier for me, or the decisions that I have made, because we've all done, excuse my language, stupid and you know what I mean? Some people get caught, some people don't. We've all done some dumb, idiotic things when we look back, whether it be father, again, some are more extreme than others, obviously, but it just gives that perspective like, wow, well, these are the the consequences of bad choices. These are the consequences of good ones. Again, the perspective is that you can't, when you meet, it's different when you see something on TV. When you meet a man face to face, shake his hand like we used to, or you give him a hug like we used to, or you talk to him and you really get that like heart to heart. And again, they touched a lot of hearts, man. So it was really good from a perspective point of view. And I know you already know, because that's why you're like, hey, I need to put these guys in front of these guys. And
we got to put them together. Everybody benefits from that. They benefit from recognizing what everybody else struggles with, that they are not alone. I mean, the challenges might be different, but really it's not that much. I mean, we all have our issues and we all struggle. And the key point is that if we connect with an opportunity to try to help each other with no real agenda, no real expectation other than just being genuine, we can help each other and we can all benefit from that. So I think that is, it's a great outcome. And it's a lot of fun to get together at the bar the night before. You know, we had a pretty good crew this last time. A lot of people, a lot of food. It was a lot of fun. And I'm glad to make that happen. You know, that's a lot of fun.
Right. And again, man, you've approached it the right way, in my opinion. You've done it the right way. And again, I'm just proud of where you're going and what's going on. So one final big, huge question. Sure. And if you take an hour to explain it, I understand. So then, in an event that you've been building for years, and the main part of the event is literally people getting together, hugging, horseshoes, handshakes.
Yeah, in real life, man. Physical gatherings.
Sharing beer. Hey, taste this beer. How does Father's Eve look 2020 pandemic style?
Well, we recognized early on that things are going to be different this year, because at first we thought maybe we weren't even going to be allowed to go outside, let alone get together. True. And now here it's almost June and things are starting to loosen up and people are getting out again. But I just don't think a lot of guys are going to want to get together with a bunch of strangers in, you know, like they didn't. I mean, people have a new sensitivity to all of that. And so we recognize we have to go online. We want to have an online version this year. So we're actually just putting it together. We found a great company here in Minneapolis who's been very generous to help us with the technology. We had to negotiate the deal quite a bit because, you know, I'm still sort of bootstrapping this project, and I got to keep everybody happy around me, right? I can't just spend endless amounts of time and money. It's got to be balanced. So I've got some limits on what I can do, but
your hobby fun.
We're lucky to be
your hobby fun.
What's that?
Your hobby.
Yeah, hobby fun. Well, I'm trying to grow it beyond the hobby and turn it into a real business. But
I feel you, but that's how you explain it to the wife.
It takes that scale. Yeah.
Right. That's how you explain it to the wife.
Yeah, right. Well, so we're making incremental progress. And actually what we recognize is this year, so we're going to be online. It's going to be a virtual event. Now, I'm probably going to have a dozen guys in my garage again, just because I got some friends that I feel comfortable with. You know, they'd come in and we'll stand a few feet apart, but you know, I'm not going to have 150 guys at some bar this year. That's not going to happen. Not here. Now, if other guys around the country, we did have about probably 25 or 30 guys signed up to host Father's Eve events like we're used to doing, you know, these gatherings in a bar or a restaurant or in their backyard or whatever. And we kind of stopped promoting that when we realized that, geez, you know, we really probably aren't going to be able to do that. So I need to finish and go back to those fellas and say, look, if you're still going to get together, that's great. But you have to do it in compliance with the local regulations, right? We don't want Father's Eve breaking the law, right? We got a brand to protect. But if you can do it and you still want to do it, go ahead. I mean, have your group together and just follow the rules. And what we're going to do in any case is have an online event this year. So it'll be a virtual event. We're going to use Zoom as the connecting platform, but we've got an engagement platform that's beyond Zoom. And I'm not sure I can explain it properly, but we're going to have some interaction and engagement from our sponsors, from our partners like City Dads and At Home Dads, sponsors like Sport Clips. We think they'll have some videos or slides or some contests that they're going to share with us. And then we picked a new national charity partner this year. It's called Children's Miracle Network, which is a great organization. They've got a big chapter here in Minneapolis. We got connected to them, and they are in, I think they have 170 hospitals that they support, children's hospitals all over the country. So it's a big group, a worthy group. So we're dads supporting those hospitals for children. So we think that fits us. And we think if we can start with them this year in this environment, doing it online, we can develop that relationship into something really meaningful as we continue to expand. The other thing an online event does for us this year, which we've never really been able to do, is we'll know who shows up, right? Usually Father's Eve, even my event here, I put it out on Facebook or whatever. I tell all my friends, and like, yeah, we're going to be here, and we know what night it's going to be. It's a Saturday, whatever, and we tell them, show up. And we like them to sign up and register, or, we want to pick up their name and email and stuff to build our list for sponsorship strategy. But most guys don't sign up. Most guys just show up. And that's just guys, and I get that. I don't really want to get upset about that, but it's like, man, we'd love it if we could build our list. So this year, 2020, having an online event, guys will need to sign up to get online, right? We'll at least know who's there watching. So far, the program has been, and this is not 100% final, but I think it's probably 90% final. We're going to have a 30-minute program on Father's Eve, just 30 minutes online. And it's going to go from 7:40 to 8:10, with the peak still being the local time, 8 o'clock toast. So we're going to start on the East Coast at 7:40, then get everybody online. We're going to have the Zoom platform set up for 1,000 guys, which I hope to smash that and have to go in and up the capacity, right? We want a ton of guys online. There'll be programs to watch. There'll be contests to engage in. I've got one guy, again, I don't want to tease it too much, but he's a comedian, a local guy. He's pretty funny, creative guy. He's going to do some work with us. So we have sponsors, partners in the charity group. We're going to call out some event hosts, some of the Father's Eve guys from around the country by time zone. I think we'll have 2 or 3 guys like East Coast to tell us about their Father's Eve event, or what they did last year, or what they were going to do this year, or maybe what they're planning for next year. Talk about Father's Eve, that the other guys who've done it around the country. So in each time zone, we'll cycle through that material. Then we'll do our countdown 8 o'clock toast. And then we'll finish up with some more, pick the winners for the contest. There's a social media engagement contest, and push the strategy around the charity. Say, hey, we can help these guys. Let's do some good. We're trying to find some matching donors for the charity fundraising. And then I think it'll shut off, or it'll go into what I call intermission for another 30 minutes. We might put the Zoom rooms together. Maybe guys want to meet by state or something to try to give them some local connectivity. I'm not entirely sure we'll be able to do that or how we'd manage that, but we're looking into those options. Then it'll be 30 minutes of probably kind of, I don't want to say off the air, but I'll call it intermission. Then we move to the next time zone and we start it over again. And we do the whole program again for the next time zone. We do the toast will be live. We're going to do it from my garage. Actually, they're sending a camera over here because I'm going to have some fun with the countdown toast. I mean, might as well do it. And then we'll cycle it through 4 time zones. Okay. So we'll be online for basically 4.5 hours. And people can come and go whenever they want. They can come into their time zone to do the local 8 o'clock time toast, kind of like New Year's Eve is, when they start in Times Square and they go through different cities. Or guys can come and go and stay on and watch the intermission. I think we'll have something interesting or some music or something playing. It'll be online, but then we'll switch it back on and cycle through that 30-minute program again. So I think it's going to be different, obviously, but I think it can be a lot of fun because we got a lot of fun guys. There are a lot of really cool guys like you and other guys that I've gotten to know over the years that want to help us pull this off and keep that momentum and keep that enthusiasm. Even if we can't get together in real life like we want to, this year we can still get together online in real time, I guess, is the alternate, and make the most of it. And I do think there will be some guys, there are certain parts of the country where these guys can still get together. And if they want to have buddies over in their garage or their backyard, or there may be some bars and restaurants, but we had some great ambition. I was negotiating some really cool sponsorship relationships with groups and restaurants and all kinds of stuff. And all of that got crushed because of this coronavirus. So I was quite frustrated for a little while. A lot of time and energy went into that effort. And you know what? That's the way it goes. So we're kind of making the lemons lemonade, I guess, out of the lemons. We think there's some opportunity. What I really think, Greg, is next year, 2021, we're hopefully back to sort of normal, and guys want to get together again in real life, and the bars and restaurants are open and willing to host us and sponsor our groups with food and drinks and all that. We'll still have the online version. I think we're going to be online anyway, because it's another way to connect guys on even a broader scale, a real national and even international. I could see doing this like New Year's Eve is kind of everywhere. I mean, it just happens. So we think this is a big breakthrough year, even though it was on my agenda and it wasn't in my budget. We're gonna make it work, make the most of it, and just keep growing this thing. We want to keep it growing and make it real. My goal is that this gets big enough where it just kind of happens, and I don't really have to be the one kind of pushing the rock up the hill. You know, I want to get it big enough and up the hill far enough that it'll just keep going. And there's enough people involved, and I think we're almost there, you know, to where this thing will really take off. And the idea, the strategy is we get some sponsors that want to participate and be the official, you know, fill in the blank of Father's Eve, and they want to pay us to do that. Well, that money will give us the budget then to produce bigger and more fun events that could generate more funds for more charities. I mean, again, the idea is not to be our own charity, but to use it as a fundraiser for charity. And I think that's really a bigger purpose, really. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, you're making strawberry lemonade out of lemonade, buddy.
You see someone sneaking in here?
I prefer strawberry lemonade. One of my teenage
school from home kids, right?
Yeah.
Not home, school from home. She's in the middle of it right now. Yeah, it's all good.
So we got a message here for you. I don't know if you can see it at the bottom there. That's from our friend Brock Luce.
Oh yeah, thank you. He's planning on having a small group of guys. That's right. That's the same thing I'm going to do. So we're going to have a bunch of buddies in the garage. You know, we're going to have a camera there because we got to. They were like, "Well, we want to do this thing and record the whole thing and then just rerun." I'm like, "No, we got to have some live action. I mean, I want to make it fun." And so we're gonna do the toast 4 times here, and I think that could be an adventure all to its own. And we'll make it the last I'm in Central Time. Yeah, right. I'm in Central Time, so Pacific Time is 2 hours. So it'll be I guess 10 o'clock will be the last toast we'll be doing. We'll do it at 7 for East Coast, 8 o'clock for Central, 9 o'clock for Mountain, 10 o'clock for Pacific. So we'll do 4 toasts over the course of the night. I think that'll be a blast. And we want to have fun with this. The whole idea of Father's Eve was to have fun right from the beginning, and that's never changed. And I hope it never changes. You know, we want to do good and have some fun. So I appreciate that.
All right, John. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and telling everybody. Is there something that we missed there?
Gee, I don't think so. You know, what I tell people, my tagline now is save the date, spread the word. This year it's Saturday, June 20th. It's going to happen everywhere, anywhere. With the 8 o'clock toast is the real opportunity to engage. And if you're interested and you like it, you know, find us on Facebook or whatever, social media, Instagram and all that. We're getting the hang of those things. We got a website. You can sign up and get on the list. We'll have a list that we'll send an email or whatever, some reminders, you know, but we're not selling anything. We're not spamming anybody. We're not going to go crazy with it. We're just trying to have some fun. So if you're interested, connect with us, save the date, spread the word, and let's participate. Let's have some fun with it. It's coming right up.
And John, you stay safe and have fun. And we will check back with you hopefully next year, because then we're going to see where we're at, and as far as getting the Father's Eve back to where it used to be, back to its roots, which is, you know, obviously, you know, without a doubt, the roots of this is, you know, men connecting and fathers connecting, literally on a physical, you know, see you and have a beer with you level. So,
yeah, thank you, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity, man. Thanks for letting me share my story, and I appreciate your help. I really do. Thank you.
Excellent, John. We'll talk to you soon. Stay safe. Have fun.
Okay, man. You too. Bye-bye.
So, yeah, good one. John Francis is obviously passionate about what he does, so that's he's fantastic. It's great. It's funny because I was, I was like, John, what are you gonna do? You have this big thing, and oh man, he could probably talk another hour about what they're doing and what they have planned. So he's really taking it up as far as this goes, even in the pandemic. And as you heard, a lot of the things that he's doing now, he's going to be able to implement and use going forward. And I think a lot of businesses, nonprofits, stuff like that, are retweaking their stuff to this way. And a lot of them are going to come out hopefully stronger and broader because they're offering things that they weren't offering before that are going to continue. So this is fantastic. We have a slow week here this week. Last week was fun, and it was busy, and it was craft beer week. So this week we have a slower week. So I will see you guys next on Friday for Brothers and Booze. I don't think I have anybody else this week. Look at the calendar. Oh, that's hilarious. And if I do, it's really bad. No. Next one is you'll see Doug and I on Friday. Next week though. Couple big things. We got Zach Rosen, who is a beer. He's a beer expert, but he also pairs beer with movies and books and all kinds of crazy. He's brilliant artist, thinking person, creative as all heck. He's gonna be fun, and I'm working on some other things too. So I will talk to you guys, or I'll see you guys on Friday. Cheers.